everyone, my name is Megan. Welcome to my channel. My channel is all about comparing books I've read to their movie adaptations. Before I get started on this week's episode, I just want to say sorry that I missed out on last week. I try to post one every weekend, but last week I wasn't feeling well, and instead of reading, I just watched Grey's Anatomy in bed all day. And then I was just having kind of a hard time finding movies that are on Netflix or on demand or something that I can watch easily. But I got one that's on Netflix, and I was reading it online, and then I went to the library to get the book. So I've got it. And I also realized that the library has DVDs, so I know what my next one's going to be. I already got it planned. We're all good. One small problem, though. I did get 5 books at the library, and I have holds on 4 more that I'm going to pick up. So I can't promise that my next video will be up next weekend. And if it is, it might just be like a book review. But anyway, let's just jump in. This week I've read To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. So the thing that makes this book a little bit different than the other ones I've compared is that I actually saw the movie first. I watched it when it first came out on Netflix a long time ago with my mom, and we both loved it. I'm surprised she loved it. I knew I would love it, but I'm surprised she did. She was smiling the whole time. But I decided to finally read the book, and then I watched the movie again right after. So I read the book throughout the week. I finished it yesterday, and then I literally said the end, and then turned on Netflix and watched it. So before I go through, there are a lot of differences, but I do feel like this was a pretty faithful adaptation. That being said, this was a pretty long book with a lot of different scenes and things like that, and I just don't think it all could have fit in the movie. I really think probably her series would have made a great TV show. This could have been season 1. And then the next one, season 2. Something. I will always advocate for books being made into TV shows. Yeah, I literally had 15 pages left, and I went in the library and got it, so I would have it to hold up in my videos. Anyways, so I think it was a good rendition. I honestly liked the movie better than the book. I'll get to that in a little bit. But anyways, so it started out, well, not really started out. The beginning was pretty similar, but Lara Jean does not crash her car. She just kind of almost hits him with the car. But their whole interaction in the book was she got in a car crash, and then he came and saw she was okay, and that was before school started. So the movie actually opens up, and it's the first day of school, and that's when they kind of start their interactions, and the letters get sent out after school starts. But I'm so sorry. So in the book it started a little before school started. That's what I'm trying to say. Peter and Lara Jean's first kiss in the book, it happened he just kissed her out of nowhere. They were the last 2 at a party, and he initiated it. But in the movie, it was during a game of Spin the Bottle, so it was just happenstance. Whereas in this one, it kind of hints that maybe he did like her. Blah blah blah. Oh, so the movie showed young John Ambrose when it was going through all the people she wrote letters to, and he was definitely white. And I saw the trailer for the second one, and I like who they picked, but it just didn't line up. That has nothing to do with the book. It's the first movie versus the second movie. I'm so excited for the second movie. I honestly can't wait. I've got a hold on that book at the library. Someone has it checked out, so I've got a hold placed on it next. But I just thought that was funny that they had a white guy, and now they got what's his face playing him in the second one. But I'm excited. Okay. So then it's the part where she almost hits him with her car. I laughed so much. I didn't remember that from the first time I watched it. So I was seeing it again. I was mad they cut out the car crash, but then I saw that. I'm like, that's so funny. She almost just ran him over in a parking lot. So in the book, when she finds out about her letters, she wants to faint. She's like, oh my gosh, I wish I could just be one of those girls and pass out right now. But in the movie, she actually does faint, which is just funny. Another little difference is that in the book, she kind of has time space between each of them to deal with these guys and how their letters got out and like to talk to them about it. But in the movie, it's all just like bam, 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 one after the other. So no wonder this chick face. Because it's Peter, and then Josh is coming up, and then she kisses Peter, and then she's hiding in the bathroom, and boom, there's Lucas, and it's just all at once. And I think that was a good change. I think it was just funny cinematically. Like, the book, it makes sense while you're reading, but watching it, like, the time between it, like, like, let's go. So I'm glad it happened all at once. It was just funny. I said that already. Oh, and then so same with the kiss. It was different, obviously. Whole thing with Josh's letter and Lara Jean kissing Peter happens the next day in the book, but it was right away in the movie. And their kiss, like, she jumped and she was laying on him on the track, kissing him. But in the book, since it was the next day, it was in the hallway, and she like jumped into his arms instead of jumping on him. But I still liked it in the movie, so like, I like the movie so much. So I'm cheesing this whole time, like, that's how much. And then same with Lucas, like, it was supposed to be later on, blah blah blah. And then I said Lucas became kind of a friend in the book, which I really liked, and I said I hope it continues in the movie, and it did happen in the movie, and their friendship was so cute, and it was even more than the book. Like, I thought their book friendship was cute, but it was even cuter in the movie. Like, they did their little face mask together. Oh. Anyways, so there are a couple scenes where she's like, this is the one part of the movie I honestly didn't like. She's like in her bedroom and she's imagining talking to Josh, and at one point she's imagining talking to Peter, and they're like in her room, which I get that's like in her head, but it was just weird for me to watch. I'm like, it just made me kind of uncomfortable, and I can't really put my finger on why. It was just like, I didn't have to see that, and that wasn't in the book. Like, she wasn't having imaginary conversations in the book. I guess that was our way of hearing her thoughts, but I don't know, I didn't like it. So in the book, she talks to Peter about their kiss at school, like she waits for him after gym or something, but in the movie, it's at the diner. She rides her bike there to run away from Josh, and then he is at the diner because he said, Kitty thought you might be here, and so he went, and they were talking about their kiss and the letters she wrote and stuff at the diner. And in the book, Peter actually knows Johnny Ambrose, and in the movie, he doesn't. She just says some guy from Model UN in middle school. So I'm interested for the second book and the second movie to see how their acquaintanceship, how their knowledge of each other is going to play off while they're kind of fighting for Lara Jean, and then versus in the movie, or if in the second movie they will know each other and they just, that's one thing that's different in the first movie. I don't know. But he definitely knows him in the book. He's like, oh yeah, Johnny Ambrose, here, I have his number. But in the movie, Johnny Ambrose wasn't even that big, and Peter had no idea who that was. In the movie, Peter drove a Jeep. In the book, he drove an Audi, and that doesn't sound like a big deal, but I just thought it was so much sweeter when he gave up his car in the book and drove his mom's minivan so he could drive the two girls to school, because he didn't have room in his super cool car, so he traded it with his mom. I just think that was nice, and that would have been nice in the movie, but I love Jeeps too, so I wish I had a Jeep. So in the book, the time she rode her bike and she was all sweaty and she drove to his house to talk, that's when they made, things are getting switched up in my mind, people. I think that's when they talked about their contract. But she rode her bike to his house, and then in the book it said he didn't offer her a ride home in his car, and she had too much pride to ask for one, so she rode her bike all the way home too. But in the book, after she rode her bike, he drove her home. He had plenty of room in his Jeep for her bike. So how they started fake dating was a little bit different. In the book, she had said that she just told Josh, like, we're dating, I'm dating Peter, and then like Peter went along with it when he saw him at some bookstore. But in the movie, it was just Peter's idea right away. Like, Josh just saw them kiss, and then Peter came up with it later. He's like, well, what if we fake date? So it's Peter's idea, which again lends to maybe he liked her along. I feel like in the movie he liked her. Never mind. Okay. So in the book, I think he liked her all along because it's how they first kissed. But in the movie, it was his idea to fake date, so maybe that's why he liked her. Whatever. My brain is so scrambled right now. I was sick, guys. Give me a break. So we got to see Josh jealous toward Kavinsky, Peter, right away. And their first interaction, where he's like, "Oh, how long have you been together?" In the book, that happened in the bookstore, and Peter just told Lara Jean about it. He's like, "Oh yeah," he just asked how long we were together and stuff. But in the movie, we got to see it. We got to see Josh, like, a little jealous. I was like, "Oh, you tell him, Peter. Oh, kill him." And then in their contract, they agree. She said he had to watch 16 Candles. She wrote that in the contract. And he said she had to watch Fight Club. In the book, they said no rom-coms or action movies. He's like, "I'll never watch rom-coms." She said, "Well, I'll never watch an action movie. Put that down." But in this one, they picked 2 movies to watch together. And I was like, date night. And then in the movie, she's like, "No kissing, but you can put your hand in my back pocket." And in the book, he said that. He's like, "Can I put my hand in your back pocket?" Which, like, that point, I was like, skeevy. Oh, Peter, you being skeevy. But I like that was her idea in the movie. That was a good change. And then the ski trip was also mentioned up front in the contract in the movie, whereas in the book, they just kind of talked about it later on. I was sad that they took out the part of him trying to help make the cupcakes. He just came over while she was making them, and then he's like, "Let's go to the party." And she said, "Okay." And there was no like flirting over making cupcakes. Lara Jean and Jen's conversation at the party was way different. My brain's fried right now, so I can't tell you specifically. That's all my note says. And then we get to hear Peter and Jen talk at the party, whereas Lara Jean kind of saw them talking in the book, but in the movie we got to hear what they were saying to each other, which I think was a nice little added component. Of course, Lara Jean didn't hear that, but we did. I feel like Peter was way nicer and more complimentary in the movie than in the book. He said, "You look pretty," and in the book he's like, "You're pretty cute in a quirky way," which, like, that's kind of an offhand compliment. I hate those. But, like, in the movie, he was just gave compliments. He was just I love Peter Kavinsky in the movie. I love Noah Centineo or whatever his name is. And so he was just nicer. And she was, okay, in the movie, she was so upfront about her fears in love. In the book, she was denial. Peter had to tell her, like, "Listen, I think you're afraid of love. I think that's what's going on." But in the movie, she's like, "I'm afraid of love. I like the fake thing. I don't like the real thing." And then you can tell he's into her right away in the movie. It takes longer in the book, in my opinion. But in the movie, like, just, like, you see it all over his face and his... In the book, it's just, like, kind of her views, and she doesn't see it, so, like, we don't see it. But in the movie, you see it in his acting. Oh, and then their little Instagram posts were so cute. And then in the movie, I thought it was more of a clean break with Josh. Like, she just kind of stopped being his friend. She said, "I can't talk to you," and that was different than the book. I pictured book Josh more attractive. I guess I didn't remember what he looked like when I first saw the movie. In this book, I was like, "Ooh, Josh cute." Like, a thing for nerds. So, but movie Josh was not attractive. Sorry to the actor who plays him. Oh my gosh, this video's long, and I've got so many more bullets. Blah, 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 blah. So when she met Peter's family, there was nothing about him babying his brother, and she was saying she wanted to set Kitty up with his brother, which that was weird. I was mad they cut the scene with the trip to the estate sale. It was like their first time they just hung out because they wanted to, so I was really cool with that, with no one around, not putting on a show. I liked Chris's character in the movie way better than the book. I can't even... She just... Book Chris was nothing. I did not like her character in the book. She was annoying. But in the movie, she was so nice. Oh my gosh. Oh, I was mad also that Josh never kissed Lara Jean in the movie. He did in the book. That's what all the drama was. I feel like there was not enough drama. Like, her sister was mad because she thought Lara Jean liked him. But, like, I feel like that's not the biggest deal. A big deal would be that he kissed her and she didn't say anything. That should have definitely been in the movie. So I was mad that got cut, and there was no Christmas party scene, which, I mean, I get it. Like, but that's where everything blew up then. In the movie, there was a video that went out of her kissing him in the hot tub. That's way better than just gossip. In the book, it was just her Jen spreading rumors. So the video, that was an improvement. Margot kind of helped her through her problems in the movie, whereas in the book she didn't. She was still very mad, but Lara Jean went and told her, like, listen, I need your help. I know you're mad, but this is what's going on. And so Margot helped her, which was different than in the book. Okay, I'm just gonna, like, literally, I have so many more notes, but I'm gonna stop because I'm at 15 and a half minutes. Wow. Okay, so the main reason I like the movie better than the book is the ending. So the ending of the book leaves off on a cliffhanger. She's just writing a letter. You don't really know how it ends up. She just realizes she loves him and she has to tell him via letter. In the movie, she gets in her dang car. She drives. Yeah, that's right. My girl Lara Jean drives. She hates driving. She drives to go see Peter. And then she gives him the letter. Well, first he tries taking it. And then he's like, you know what? If you want me to read that, then you need to give it to me yourself. I'm like, yes, go Peter. But then she decides, I'm going to read it all out to you. I said, yes, go Lara Jean. And she read it and she's like, I love you. And then they kiss and they end up together. And I love happy endings way better than cliffhanger. I was like, so yes, I like the movie better. If you want to know which notes I skipped, leave me a comment and I will gladly drop a line or two. But this video has been way too long. I'm sorry. Tune in next week. I am going to do, it's kind of a funny story. I loved that book in middle school. I'm going to check it out at the library, check out the DVD at the library, and hopefully that'll be up next weekend. Maybe I'll just do some random book review of a different book. I don't really know. Stay tuned.